Hello, Slicey Dicers. This is Brian with another knife review for you. Today, we have the last of the trifecta, the Civivi Naja. This is the third knife released by Civivi, which is a budget brand of Wee knives. Awesome knives. The first two I've loved. You guys have loved them, judging by the hit counts anyway, and the fact that they've sold out pretty quick. This one is still available, and I'm going to point out that it is available on White Mountain Knives. And if you go to whitemountainKnives.com and look it up, type in the code SDWMK at checkout, you get 10% off. You can get 10% off on that store anytime you want using that code SDWMK. I don't get any monetary kickback from it, but it encourages them to do some stuff, help me out with some cheaper knives, some loaners, things like that. So it does help out the channel. So please go do that if you want to go buy one. They are in stock right now. You can go there as of the time I'm recording this. You can go get them right now. $42.50. Definitely a budget knife, and if you guys watch the other two reviews, I will link to those here at the end of this video and the suggested videos to watch of their other two models. It's they're great. The quality on them is outstanding. The build, it's just I like the designs. I like the steel. It's a 9CR 18 MOV, which is fairly unique. Not a whole lot of companies using that. I like it. I like the G10. They're all liner locks. Let's just show them and bring those out. I was going to here in a moment anyway. So this is the largest of them. This is the Praxis, which is the second largest, and the Backlash, which is a smaller 3.5-inch, kind of more generic EDC size knife. So you can see Naja is pretty large. It does come in 3 colors, just like the other ones, but it's 3 different colors than the other ones come in. It comes in black. You saw all 3 come in black, but this also comes in a blue and an orange. So a little more bright, flashy colors. The blue especially looks pretty good. They all come with these gold liners, no matter what color you get. That's going to be something you either love or hate. I love it on the black. I think it looks cool as hell on the black. It looks on the orange. I think it also looks pretty cool on the blue. So choose your own adventure there. Different things about it too. It's got these milled G10. The other ones are pretty smooth G10. This has this milled pattern in it. It's a much just thicker, beefier knife. As you can see, I'll bring this back out again. It's not dramatically longer than the Praxis, but just a little bit longer than the Praxis, mostly in the handle. But it's a much beefier, thicker handle. When we get to size comparisons, we'll talk more about that, because there's a lot of things about this knife that not in a oh, it looks like it copied it kind of way, but in feel wise, it reminds me a lot of another knife that I like a whole lot. So we'll bring that up when we get to the size comparisons. Let's do some stats first. You have an overall length of 8.45 inches, blade length of 3.75 inches, blade thickness very thin and slicey, 0.11 inches, same as the others. Which I really love. And also it's pretty thin behind the edge, 18 thousandths, same as what the Praxis is. And you have a handle thickness of 0.57 inches and a weight of 5.2 ounces. So it's not a lightweight by any means, but not heavy at all for what you're getting. This is a big, bulky knife for sure. We'll talk about that a whole lot. This is a whole lot of knife, and 5.2 ounces, not too bad. Let's do some size comparisons. First of all, we will do one of our standards here. We'll do a couple of them, I guess. We have your Spyderco PM2. Pretty much dwarfs a PM2. Another knife, it's going to be much larger than, but something you guys may have around. You can compare it to your Benchmade 940. Let's pull out something larger that I think is a bit more comparable in size here. This is your Cold Steel Recon 1. The Recon 1's a bit bigger, but blade isn't really that maybe it's just a little bit longer, not a whole lot. And lastly, because this is where I'm going to get into where it reminds me of another knife, what we're going to show here is the Spyderco Manix 2. It reminds me a lot of the Manix 2, but what it really reminds me of is the Manix 2 XL. Unfortunately, I don't have one here to compare it to directly, but it really feels and reminds me a whole lot of the Manix 2 XL, which is a knife that I had and I really liked, and I sold it in a moment of stupidity, and I wish I hadn't. I did really enjoy that knife. Shouldn't have let it go. But it does, even the handle shape, the way it pulls down here at the end, very more pronounced than it does on the Manix 2, the regular size. The XL is the same way. a very tall, blade, just like the Manix 2 XL. It reminds me a lot of the Manix 2 XL in a good way, like a modern Manix 2 XL. I modernized, not that the Manix 2 XL isn't ancient or anything, but it's been around for a while. But very, very cool. Blade, the blade shape on this, fairly unique. I would call it kind of a, I don't know, it looks kind of African inspired to me, I guess, the overall blade shape of it. They just call it a drop point, but it works great. It's very thin, as I said, and thin behind the edge, very slicey. Tip is pretty thin for a big old knife this size, but it is very slicey. I have not done a ton of cutting with this one because I will say this one is not mine. It's going on to a friend of mine, so I didn't really want to beat on it too much. But it should perform pretty much the same as the Praxis, maybe a little bit better because it's an even taller blade. As I said in a previous review, the Praxis is really good at like longer cuts because it's a flat grind, but it's such a high flat grind that it was really good at longer cuts. This should be even better, I would think, because it's even a bit taller. And it's going to be great at stuff like that. I've found the edge retention on these to be outstanding, especially the backlash I have used a whole lot in the last couple of weeks, and I found the edge retention on the 9CR to be great. It's at least as good as your average VG10. I find it to be, in my, I admit, non-scientific testing, it doesn't seem any better or worse than something like Kaiser VG10. Definitely seems better to me than Spyderco's VG10, but I've never had good luck with that. It's a pretty good steel. I really like it. Most people compare it to like a better AUS 8 or something like that. I think it's a little bit better than that, but we'll see. Civivi is making a higher end knife it's still going to be below WE prices, so I don't know what it's going to cost, but I don't remember the name of it now. And that is using VG10, which is kind of interesting. But WE is excellent with their heat treats, so I'm saying this is comparable to Kaiser's VG10, but maybe WE's VG10 is going to be a bit nicer. I've only had one WE VG10, and that was a long time ago, and I honestly don't really recall. It was the Ignition, but we'll see when that comes out. But I love the blade on it, and ergonomically, it's a big knife, so it's not surprising. It's the best of the bunch. It's the best of the Civivis. Ergonomically, it's freaking outstanding. You got that big, thick handle. Of course, it feels great in your hand, especially with my really long fingers. It just works fantastically well. No hot spots whatsoever. The other two I did mention you could feel the clip a little bit. Not on this one. You can't feel it a bit. This is just very ergonomic. This makes a good amount of grip. It works. I love the front choil, the jimpings, just the right amount and in pretty much the right place. I wish it went a bit farther up, but I'm being nitpicky. No matter what grip you hold this thing in, it's freaking great. This is one of the best ergonomic knives I've held in a long time. It just is super comfortable in your hand. It's fantastic. Now, as far as the carry goes, that's where this one is a bit of the reason why I own the other two and I don't own this one, I guess. This is a pocket dominator. It's got a nice deep carry clip. It slides in and out of the pocket very well. The flipper is not objectionable. Again, like the other two, it's nicely chamfered. It's not going to give you a sharp thing. I still think that's the detail of all the details of the Civivis that make them really nice for their $42.50 price. That's the one that gets me the most. It's just they did such a good job with the chamfering on it, and a lot of cheap knives don't do that. But the problem is, you are looking at 1 3/4 inch height, basically. I would also call the Manix 2 is pretty much a pocket dominator, and as you can see, this is even taller than a Manix 2. So, or about the same, but just a bit taller than the Manix 2 is. And the Manix 2 takes up a whole lot of room in your pocket. So it definitely, if you put this in your pocket, that's pretty much all you got in that pocket. Just keep that in mind. Other than that, the packaging is good. They did a good job of blade to handle ratio and all that stuff. So I'm not saying they should have made it smaller. It's just if you go with this blade shape, that's just what you wind up with. You wind up with a really tall knife in your pocket. Deployment wise, Still great, runs on all the same stuff that the other Civivis did. I loved those. The detent on this is a bit harder, bit stiffer than the other two. It's not bad, but it definitely requires a bit more effort to open. I don't know if it's just this one. It's still close to those. And again, my other two I've torn apart and lubed and stuff, so I'm not going to compare them side by side because it wouldn't be fair, but it's still very smooth. Excellent. Just the detent on this particular example, a little bit stiffer than the other two, but still pretty great. Overall, if you want a big knife, yeah, this is a good one. 3.75 inches isn't like, oh my god, huge blade, but it's pretty big. But just the overall just design of it, it's a big knife. It's your whole hand for sure, and I really like it though. It's very nice. Not my thing, not the one that I want out of them, but these are gonna go fast, I'm sure, like they all do. Go to White Mountain Knives, you can get the little 10% off code thing. I'm sure they'll sell out pretty quick because it seems like the Civivis are coming and then going and then coming again. The good news is they always come back again, but everywhere I've looked, I know that I looked at White Mountain and one other site, and they both had these other two were already sold out, and then came back, and then were sold out again. So yeah, that's Civivis, as they say, so hot right now. So make sure you jump on one if you want one. Very cool knife if you're looking for a big old bruiser. Very impressed with it, as I have been with all the other Civivis. You get the cool stuff. I didn't show that. I always forget to show that till the end, in case you guys haven't watched any other Civivi reviews. $42.50, remember. You're getting this nice box and a cool little... Oh, my little Don't Eat Me fell out. This cool little bag. Comes with a cloth and all that stuff. Rolls-Royce floor mats inside. It's really nice. You get all this cool stuff for $42.50. Ball bearings. I think a very good steal. It is new. There's always going to be skeptics out there about it, but guys who are smarter than me, Stasa 23, for example, have done some pretty good testing with it and say it's pretty great. So we will see as time goes on, but definitely if you want one, go jump on it. I hope you guys have enjoyed this. I've been Brian. Have a good one.